Hello YouTube, this is Tammy Pie and I'm back with another video. I'm shedding like a Persian cat. Um, this is video number 9 in the Spirit Keepers deep dive sessions. And I don't know if I'm going to do all the quartz. I think I'm going to do half of the quartz and then I'll do half afterwards. I've gone back and forth and back and forth, so I'm not sure. I'm even at the beginning of the video, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Because I really don't want to do more than 12 or 13 videos in this series. I want to keep it to that number or thereabouts because it's October tomorrow. And there's a couple things that I want to do in October. I noticed that with my Sibylla challenge and doing these SKT things, that it slows me down for other things that I kind of want to do. And during October, I have just a whole bunch of decks that I like to try and use. I noticed Marlena Teresa skipped doing her the jar picks the decks because she wanted to use more decks. We've already done the Seance Circle Spread, and I, like many of you, want to do it more. So I might even do another video on that during October. But yeah, I'm gonna get right down to it. We're gonna start with the archangels, which are the kings or the knights in Thoth. We're going to go to the shields, which are the queens. We will then move on to, whether it's in the next video or this one, the shining ones, which are the knights, and finally the heralds, which are the princesses or the pages, depending on which deck you're used to reading with. So let's flip the camera and get right to it. So I'm going to have to add this in because I forgot to say in the beginning, but the kings and queens in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, which the Golden Dawn and therefore Spirit Keepers Tarot follows, has the kings and queens in that first triangle, that supernal triangle. Okay, so the kings are in Chokmah, which is the first Sephiroth after after Kether, which is that beyond our knowledge where the aces are. And Chokmah is that first steely awareness, right? And then Binah, which is the attraction part of it. So it's very kind of binary in that this is kind of the father and the mother, right? So that's why we have kings and queens. But it's also why she went in a completely different way, giving the kings the name Archangel, and in fact, not even giving them names, but giving them titles. And then using the Binah as shields, the protector. Okay, so that is the kings and queens. Now the knights are a whole nother situation. They are going to, and I don't know, should I put this here? Yeah, I think I probably am going to put it here because I think I'm going to get through the whole thing. The knights are then in Tiferet, which, if you know it even a little bit in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, and I'll put in a little thing from the Book of Maps, that is the sixth one, the sixth Sephiroth, and it sits right in the middle, and it's the golden one, the bright, shiny one, the one that's colored yellow. So that's why she calls these guys the shining ones, and they are, and kind of all paths lead to them. They're right there in the center of the tree. And then at the bottom of the tree of life is you finally get to Malkuth, which is where the tree of life touches the world. It comes to earth, okay? Hang on just a second. I didn't have them in order and it preys upon my mind. Because, anyway. So, right. The princesses in Thoth, or the pages in RWS, have now become the heralds, which they are that introduction to actually getting something done in the world. So these guys bring a message, and they are all there at the bottom of the tree of life, okay? And I'm going to leave it there because we'll start the whole thing right here. Okay, so even though I promised that I wouldn't get too deep in the mud as far as the Book of Maps goes, this will be heavy on the, I'm going to add like a whole bunch of pages from the Book of Maps, maybe almost all of it. And that is because there are some great stories. Each one of these court cards has a real spirit to it. Now the kings all, or the archangels, all have this magic square, right? They also are all from different parts of the world. Every one of the court cards is from a different part of the world. And it isn't that they don't line up. They do line up as far as element goes. They are all, the wands are fire element. The cups or chalices are water element. The swords are air. And the pages or princesses, or in this case heralds, are the earth element. And there has been change over the time period. Hang on just a second. Okay, so over time, over the different editions, I had to, of course, go get these. There has been some change, although the change is not huge. This is the first edition, and this is the Vitruvian. So the archangels, very similar. They still have the magic square. They still have the main viewpoints, okay? But the art is just different. And if you watch T. Susan Chang's Tarot podcast, she had Benabel on, and I was right. It was 38 days. The original drawings for the first edition she did in 38 days. Okay? So, and then this was over the COVID times. She taught herself how to paint with the computer, digital painting. So, okay, Archangel of Glory, the King of Wands. We're not going to go too super deep into it. I will put, like I say, several moments from the Book of Maps in here. And just to let you know, these are like ancient number squares. Each one of these adds up to the same number no matter how you do it. And magically, they are kind of veered toward their element, which, of course, this one would be fire, Archangel of Glory. It's got the wand, and it has the flame, which this is the flame of inspiration. And so this angel works with you to get things done. When you have inspiration to work hard at being a musician or an artist, it is the Archangel of Glory that helps you along that way. And of course, the costumes are all certain periods, the backgrounds are certain places, so that this deck, once again, takes you all over the world. Next, we have the Archangel of Healing, and she is in Inuit costume, and behind her is the Aurora Borealis, which is what I always call the Ouroboros. But there it is, finally, the actual Aurora Borealis, and which has magical healing meaning in this. There are some little otter carvings, which she copied out of books. There are several other little bits and bobs here. Again, I will put up pages from the books of maps that kind of tell you a little more about these things, but suffice it to say, the Archangel of Healing does just that. Whatever ails you, this angel is here to heal it. And they're especially like when you have traumatic injury that follows you. This is the angel that you want to work. Again, we have the magic square, and I believe this is the water I Ching. That's which one? Oh, you know what? These are not. These are fire. Hang on, let me make sure so I'm not lying to you. Is this like the first time I got one of the trigrams right? Maybe. So that is the trigram for fire. Here is let me start doing it this way. The first edition and the Vitruvian edition, again, not a huge amount of change. That she, kind of had the same idea, but she did add in like the backgrounds and the costume, and this is more about having like potions, and I believe this is her recipe for the anointing oil here. Okay, where am I putting these cards? I don't even know. So, okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Archangel Commander is the King of Swords. Again, the magic square. See, the magic square is different, but they still all add up the same way. And the little background art is different. And again, it's keyed to air. This is heaven. Is it heaven? Make sure. Yes. And this is the Archangel of Storms and Battles. I will put some stuff in from the Book of Maps, but this is a real sword that she copied out of a book, and I'll put that reading the page out of the Book of Maps there too. The sword suit has kind of special meaning, particularly the knight, and I'll get into that later. But this is the what were these guys called? I don't know. They were the predecessors to the Masonic people. They were supposed to be like protecting the king, but then the new king came along and had them all burned. So that sucked. But I'm gonna put that in the. I'm gonna put that in the pages from the Books of Maps. Here we go with the first edition and the Vitruvian. You can kind of see where things changed, but they kind of stayed the same, right? Her artwork just got better. Okay, let's move on. Maybe I will. I might get to all the courts today. All right, so this is the Archangel of Mysteries, and this is, I believe she's Incan. I think this is an Incan goddess, with corn, which is a sacred grain in the South American world. The magic square, again, is different. This is the trigram for Earth. Because it's a court, it goes for 4 in card counting. There's a whole thing about this constellation, which I'll put up. What else? Oh, and about the mask, which is interesting. And let's move on already to the shields, which are the queens. So I don't know. Is it too late to talk about this? Okay, so I am going to... Okay, so I had to stop right there and do an add-in because I am going to get through all this. All right, and it's because I'm just not going to tell all the stories because it's too much reading and I haven't really done all the reading. I mean, I've done reading, but I haven't taken notes. So I get all these things wrong and then I have to go back in and change things and write things on the screen, and it's a pain. So this is the Archangel of Mysteries in the first edition and the second edition, which has this cool Medusa thing going. And I forget exactly what she was going for here, but the head of Medusa was used, I think, on the shield of somebody in order to protect them. So this is the magic in this card is very protective. All right, now we're moving on to the shields, and here we are in, I think this is a Mesopotamian god, the Sanctum of Splendor. This trigram is thunder, and this shield is actually pretty cool. I'm going to put a page up or two from the Book of Maps and read the pages that I put up there. Take a screenshot at least, or most of the time I think I cut off the page number, but because the stories are very interesting. This is like a very dynamic story about this Mesopotamian, I think it was like a god. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Ivory Shield, she's my favorite because she is where my birth decan is. And that's another thing I forgot to do is give you the decans again, but oh well. Yeah, I'll put it right here. And the only reason this is important is sometimes these cards can give you timing. But you kind of have to know where the decans are and what court cards are in charge of what. And it's a little weird, and the only way you can learn it is through practice. So this trigram weirdly is wind. This chamomile is known to be like a super healing flower. This fountain is from the Ace of Cups. Where she's from, she is like she's Celtic but also kind of Nordic, and this is about self-love. This is about protecting yourself when you feel like you need time. And it's about slowing down and looking into and being kind of introspective. All right. So I will put up from the Book of Maps the pages that tell the story about this think she's a goddess. She's either a goddess or a heroine from Celtic stories. Oh, this one is so good. I'm going to give you the things in the Book of Maps too that show where she got like the costumes and stuff, because it's very interesting how she went about, bringing all these different cultures into SKT. Again, because it's a court card, it's worth 4 in card counting. And this is Lake. If you guys watched Chief of War, the Hawaiians used weapons like this too. But this guy is coming to fight for you, right? He's coming to protect you from the enemies that are coming to get you. What else? I'm gonna leave it to the inserts to let you read about it, but it's pretty cool. Scarlet Shield. This is the Queen of Swords. The Ebony Shield. I believe this one is African, and she is in front of, what is this? I'm sorry. I swear to God, I read all this stuff, but then the stuff, as soon as I have the camera going, I can't remember anything. But it doesn't really matter when you're reading for these things. What matters is what it means to you. So the little headdress here is hearkening back to Thoth, as you might imagine. All the stuff on the shield here has meaning, and I'll put inserts from the Book of Maps to let you know. Yeah, this is, I think this was like a super famous queen in Africa. I'm sorry, I can't remember. All right, and we go straight into the shining. Oh, did I get this wrong? Oh, I did. Hang on. And I didn't show you any of the queens. Should I go back through? Let's just go back through and look at real quickly the first and second editions. So there's the Golden Shield. And there is SKT1 and Vitruvian in the Golden Shield. Power and Authority of Fire. The Ivory Shield. This one looks a lot different. Power and Authority of Water. There's the Scarlet Shield. She changed them, but she didn't, right? Power and Authority of Air. And there is the Ebony Shield. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the shining ones. And these did change a lot because at first they were strongholds. Which is kind of a chess piece. It's kind of still a little medieval. But shining, because they come from Tiferet, makes more sense to me anyway. So let's go ahead and look at the first and second editions, because I just described that they were very much changed. And in part, I'm not going to lie, it's because she didn't know how to draw horses at first. Which, if you've ever tried to draw a horse, it's relatable. It's really hard to draw horses. So at first she had these little kind of badges, and then she took them out so that she could have the winged horse. And then she decided to bring both back in the Revelation edition. So again, I'm going to give you the Book of Maps to read, because it is really interesting, the story about this this warrior here. That I think he was a Han Dynasty type of guy, and these guys, they not only had to be born to exactly to the right people, they had to be born at the right time, they had to look a certain way, they had to have a certain physicality to be this warrior. You had to be special, and then you had to go through years of training. This is the magic salamander. Each one of the shinings has a little companion or helper guide. And these guys, of course, are the active parts of the court. So they are there to get you going. This background, too, is particularly beautiful. The trigram is for fire, because, of course, it is, and because it's a court 4. Did I show you? Yeah, I already did. All right, let's look at the shining waters. And I'll show you it used to be the shining dew. Waters and waves, and turned into the waves of the Undine. And this is the Undine, right? So this is I thought it was Venice, but it isn't Venice. It's the other place, the place where the Medicis lived. Starts with an M. One of those famous Italian cities. And of course the Undine is the magical helper. The knight is dressed in this like really cool, what are these guys called? I forget. But yeah, the Shining Dew. Super cool. All right, here we have the Shining Gale, which would be the Knight of Swords. Winds of the Sylph. This one is really interesting too. So this is she said this one had particular meaning for her because she was going through her own kind of dark night of the soul. I believe this is when she got kind of cancel cultured. People were getting all bent out of shape because of some things that she said, and kind of attacking her and the whole Benabel world. Of course, she did it she protected herself in her own way, which was by kind of looking inward and deciding what she was gonna do better, because that is the way of Benabel. She just tries to be better instead of beating herself up. Okay, which at the time I remember thinking, if we never see Benabel win again because these people are attacking her, I'm going to be really pissed. And there was, of course, nothing I could do about it. This I'll put from the Book of Maps. The red script has one meaning, and the glowing yellow in the back has a whole nother meaning. Of course, this guy is like this intense king who was he was like a famous warrior who fought for this one side and won all the battles and killed the king and all this other stuff. And then when the new king came, he had him imprisoned with his wife. So when they put him in prison, they made him serve the new king or emperor or whatever. And during the 3 years that he spent serving with them, he decided on his revenge. Okay. So then after that, he took over and got his revenge. And this is, yeah, a lot of really cool stuff. And of course, in the Chinese don't have a sylph or even anything like a sylph. So she kind of takes the artistic license and yeah, great stuff. Very interesting. I will definitely put all the books of maps so that you can read about all that. This is a real sword too. All right, the Shining Quarry, which is the Knight of Pentacles, Caverns of the Gnome. And I think this guy is in the desert. This is like the eastern desert of like, this is Middle Eastern, I'm pretty sure, which of course they don't have a gnome, but the gnome is the earthy helper spirit. So you get one. And there's the Om sign. And this is about, I think this horse is the one that is the brother to the horse in death. But I'll put, of course, the Book of Maps. This really cool thing was dug up after lying in the desert for like forever. And it's basically, it's the Knight of Pentacles. So it's about slowing down and doing things in order and with definite thought and doing things exactly how they should be done. But yeah, this is cool. And of course the trigram is for Earth, and it's 4 and counting cards. Oh wait, did I show you the... I did not. Okay, we got to go back one because I don't think I showed you the Shining Gale was the Shining Winds, the Swirling Gale. And again, she was learning how to do a horse, so not bad. And then we'll look at the first and second for the Shining Quarry. Big changes there. All right, so we're to the Heralds. Okay, so this is going to be kind of long, but at least it gets me out of doing a whole nother video. So the Herald of the Flame, or the Page or Princess of Wands, awaken the brilliance. So all the heralds have these little scrolls which have a message. And what she said about this is you have a blockage somewhere in you which does not allow you to speak to spirit. And so this herald is bringing you their message. So when you, and I always do this with these heralds or even the strongholds, I always draw a second card for these. How she built that into the ethos, I do not know, but it's there. This is the trigram for Thunder, and the pages are worth 7. Don't ask me why, I don't remember. So this one, is this the one? No, it's this one back here. She drew like a whole thing behind here and then obscured it with clouds. So interesting. But the even the screens here have meaning. I forget the story for this girl, but I think she's like a Japanese princess, if I'm not wrong. All right, so we're back in the like Alaska, Canada, the northern world. Again, this is an Inuit, I think, goddess. And here we've got the Aurora Borealis again, and she is one who kind of communes with water spirits. Okay, and there's your scroll that brings you the extra message. The trigram is for wind, and it is worth 7. This herald kind of, it's the Page of Cups. So this makes you put your imagination to good use. This is a really good story too. And I will put up pages in the Book of Maps because I can't remember it all. But also I'll give you a closer look at the clothing, because the clothing is really beautiful in this. This is the Herald of the Winds, one of my favorite cards in the deck, because it's Romany, right? Very cool. Also, if you look closely here, and I'll give you a close-up, this is SKT. And it's SKT Revelation, according to the backs. Again, I believe this is a real sword, and it's got like translatable stuff on it. I'll try and find that in the Book of Maps. The wagon is wonderful. I love all the little details that she put in the wagon and in the dress. Even the scrolls have like different detail that is key to their element. And finally, the Herald of Earth. Oh man, I did it again. I didn't give you any of the first and second editions. Okay, we'll go back. Sorry if this is making you sick, but I'm trying to get this done. My uncle is here. My mom is home. It's football season. I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot to be done. Okay, Stronghold of the Flame, Herald of the Awakening, turns into Herald of the Flame, Awaken the Brilliance. Stronghold of the Zephyrs turns into Stronghold of the Grail, Herald of Consummating, Herald of Purifying, Inspire the Prodigy, which I really like where she went with Revelation. Herald of the Winds was Stronghold of the Grail. Oh no. Oh, I had these wrong. I'm not going back. They were both Stronghold of the Zephyrs, Herald of Consummating, turned into Ventures of the Dauntless. How gnarly is that? Okay, if you never believe another thing I say, I would not blame you. If you didn't watch another one of these videos, I wouldn't blame you. But, you know, what are we going to do? And there you have Stronghold of the Veil, Herald of the Darkening, or Dedication of the Adept. And this is really, there's a whole interesting thing on this nebula, which at the time of this outfit, this princess and her little table, or whatever it is, fountain, came to Benebell in a dream. And so it sent her down this whole wormhole of looking stuff up to find out who this could have been. And I'll, of course, put the Book of Maps stuff in there. But also this nebula would have been a star that was just burning out. So it would have been super bright in 1043 or whenever this person existed. So all of it is very interesting. Please read the inserts, okay? Because you won't be sorry. I am going to leave it there because this is going to be really long. And I'm going to have to come back tomorrow to do the hashtag deck of the month. But if you stuck with me and if you came back to watch this, either way, thank you so much for coming.